Oke. Baik, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished delegate, investor, ladies and gentlemen, a very welcome to all of you. My name Hendricus Simarmata, just call me Andy, and I will be your moderator for today's thematic discussion with the theme Investing in Jakarta's Urban Redevelopment. We appreciate you for taking time off your schedule to join us today. I need to read this because this is very structural one. So, ladies and gentlemen, for your information, this event is being live streamed via Zoom virtual meeting, as well as being broadcasted on the Pemprov DKI Jakarta and Bank Indonesia YouTube channel. So please inform your colleagues to join live stream. This session will be conducted in English. For your convenience, interpretation devices are available at the desk near the entrance. Or you may ask our staff in this room. As we prepare to start the event, we kindly request you to switch your mobile phones to silent mode to ensure smooth progression of the program. Thank you for your cooperation. So, before we start, please share with me, let's say one word that comes to mind when you heard the word urban development. One word that comes to your mind about urban development through Slido. As you see, you can scan the barcode. So let's give like 1 minute to scan the barcode, and then what is one word that describes urban development? Okay, I see many people using their phone, hopefully not using WhatsApp. Scan, okay. We got future planning, gentrification, rejuvenate, reshaping, okay. Transformation, okay. 14, 9 participants, 7 participants still typing. Okay, go, go, go. Interesting. Okay, still 5 more, 36. I think it's quorum, yeah? Half of the participant here has already sent the word. Great. Let's make it 40. We come to 40 people. Okay. Let's give applause for all of us here. And we got 3 words: transformation, opportunity, and revitalization. Okay, let's skip these words and then let's invite our distinguished speaker. Okay, why I think this afternoon discussion bring the topic of urban redevelopment. So as Indonesian center of economic and business, Jakarta is a destination where various parties carry out vital activities. However, currently Jakarta is ranked 45th in the Global Power City Index and ranked 135th in the Cities in Motion Index. You know, the top 3 is New York, London, and Paris, right? So in order to strengthen Jakarta's role as a global city, several criteria related to urban redevelopment needs to be improved. Livability, environment, accessibility, mobility, transportation. and, of course, urban planning. This transformation is aligned with the national policy relocating the new capital to Nusantara. Of course, this relocation will give impact and is going to the what is the usage or the utilization for the central government assets, for example, and then how we can have more space for the private sector to involve in the Jakarta development, and how then we can achieve our vision as global city. So this session will be discussed on three aspects, the key aspect. First one, we want to hear the sharing session from different perspectives. We have government, we have professional, we have private sectors, and we have also World Bank, yeah, to share with us. And then best practices, of course, and what kind of the future collaboration scheme that maybe have been prepared by the government and also being initiated by the private sector. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome with me on the stage our distinguished speaker. First one, please welcome Mr. Luis Triveno. Please give a warm applause, the Senior Urban Development Specialist, World Bank Group. Please take a seat, Mr. Luis. Thank you. So I can sit also now. Please. Thank you, Pak Luis. The second speaker, please welcome Mr. Mike Broomell, Managing Director of Colliers International Indonesia. Give applause. Our third speaker, but now will be represented, before is Mr. Benni Aguscandra, the head, but now represented by Ms. Tona Hutauruk, the head of Jakarta Investment Center. And our last but not least speaker, please welcome Mr. Sulistyo, the head of Provincial Services at Esri, Indonesia. Please give also applause. Okay. So at least in the panelists, we have the beautiful one, yeah? Okay. I start from the Mr. Luis, yeah? Should I call Pak Luis or Mr. Luis? It's okay, yeah, for you? Okay. As a Senior Urban Development Specialist at the World Bank, you had, I think you led, yeah, and executed many social, urban, and rural development reform projects in these nodes over 25 countries in Europe, Asia, Africa, Latin America. Between 2012 and 25, you are the Chief Executive Officer of Pro Expansion, a think tank and reform-oriented organization based in Lima, Peru. Between 2005 and 2012, you also served as a research economist, chief operating officer, and chief executive officer of Hernando de Soto's Institute for Liberty and Democracy. So I believe with your global experience, and you must, how do you spend your time now in Jakarta? More than 3 years? Okay. So at least you have experience how livable Jakarta, right? Moving from your home to your office is very short time, I hope. So without further ado, we want to hear what's your perspective on Jakarta, in which parts of Jakarta that you think will be a good place for redevelopment or whatever what you want to think. Please, Pak Luis.
Thank you very much. I have a presentation so I would like to show some slides in case if I get the clicker. But just wanted to thank you and introduce myself. I come from the World Bank. I am now living in Jakarta for around 2 years, so I'm very happy to be here. I come from Peru, and before joining the East Asia Pacific region, I have been working in Latin America, Africa, and the Middle East. So I want to start talking about it, and my first reflection is in Jakarta and in Indonesian cities, it's where lots of the battles the societies are facing will be won or lost. Cities are the places where the opportunities to reduce poverty exist, to grow a strong middle class exist. And in the case of Indonesia, they have not delivered as much as its potential. There are other countries in East Asia Pacific, like China and Vietnam, that for every single point of urbanization have gotten a larger return. What does it mean? It means that Indonesia, in a way, is leaving money on the table. No? Now, transforming the cities is at the core of the Golden Indonesia Vision 2045. You see clearly that there are two missions of the RPJPN that are linked to urban areas, and there are indicators related to urban areas under the framework. No? So urban as centers of economic growth and achieving balanced and prosperous regional development, making sure that all cities in Indonesia grow and become engines of economic growth. Now, what's important about this RPJPN and this Golden Indonesia 2045 vision is that this vision is not, does not mean incremental change. It's actually completely the opposite. The RPJPN is proposing a dramatic change, a dramatic growth in living standards, economic performance, and environmental sustainability. The ambition of this RPJPN regarding cities is huge. Now the question is how to deliver, given though that not much has changed in terms of the important challenges that our cities face, like congestion, like hazard exposure, like overcrowding in some housing units, like air pollution, and so on. So what it means is that we need to, close these infrastructure gaps, be able to deal with the problems of the past, and at the same time deliver even more impact. No, so how can we do that? So the answer that of course comes to mind is, okay, we need to involve the private sector, combine capital. We need to plan better. We need to deliver the type of infrastructure that families need in the location that we need it, at the scale that we need it. And of course, doing it in the lowest generating carbon footprint possible. Now, that's why we need to do things differently. And urban transformation is this type of new playbook that try to redefine the way the investments are planned, the investments are financed, and the investments are delivered. Urban transformation is we see it as a game changer because it would allow cities in Indonesia to mobilize private capital while at the same time deliver all this multidimensional impact. It will not only combine the sources of capitals, but maximize the economic development of cities according to their potential, while at the same time improve the quality of lives of citizens of different economic segments. No? Now the good thing about this is that Indonesia has been doing things around like that. No? That projects like this, urban transformation is a natural evolution into a development trajectory. So other countries that have transitioned through this, like China, like Mexico, like South Korea, have moved from having these infrastructure projects that just close gaps to those infrastructure projects that deliver highest income. I mentioned before that Indonesia has been doing something similar, and when you think of the Kotaku project that we were working at the World Bank in partnership with the government, has been able to deliver integrated infrastructure at scale in different cities, building roads, housing, drainage, wastewater, solid waste management, green open spaces, and so on. The Integrated Tourist Development Project has been doing something similar with a focus of attracting more tourists, creating more job opportunities for people. So Indonesia in a way has the secret sauce of urban transformation. Now the question is how to make it bigger, how to make it better, and how to make it faster. How to start thinking of projects of larger magnitudes, like showing here the Darling Square in Sydney, that managed to actually develop an area mobilizing basically 50-50 the capital investment, private versus capital, and recovering the investment in terms of economic activity generated in just a couple of years, no? While at the same time creating building investments that improve the capacity of the city to adapt and to promote the circular economy. At the same time, it's possible through these investments to create innovative districts that repurposing assets to, again, be a space where startups can come, talent can come, and economic opportunities can be created. Now, this is the case of Testbed 2 Creative in China. So how could this look like in Jakarta? We partnered, so how can we make sure that Jakarta delivers all these impacts? And one way of measuring is if Jakarta is able to attract global talent, if Jakarta is able to attract global investment at a larger scale. What needs to be in place so that this happen? This is what it's behind the concept of becoming a global city. No? This will mean to achieve a couple of important results in different dimensions, dealing with the main problems of the city, so trying to transform this, trying to move from one situation of deficit to one situation of where there is adequate provision for citizens. So what we have done in partnership with the colleagues from ARUP in Jakarta is try to think about how to create a typology of investments where impact can be maximized. And we have identified this typology, this typology you see there. So 5 types of investment. These 5 types of investment could deliver actually a large impact. Could be TOD developments, nature-based solution development, urban innovation centers, village revitalization, as well as the preservation and development of culture. No? These types, each one of those can deliver different mixes of impact, but can allow the city to combine multiple sources of capital, to repurpose existing assets, and of course to address the infrastructure deficit while creating business opportunities for people and of course jobs. This exercise conducted with ARUP ended up with identifying 3 areas that I will just briefly show now. The 3 of them in a way are related to a TOD development. It's Block M, Medan Merdeka, and Tanah Abang, each one with different emphasis. Block M is a huge opportunity that could become a district of innovation, 24 hours economy, and there are opportunities since there are assets from the national government, from the local government, and there is, of course, the MRT station that can provide a flow of passengers, of customers, that could create a vibrant economy where all we see today is decay and missed opportunities. This is not something new. It's something that has been done before. Countries like, like Taiwan, like South Korea, like the UK. This is a well-studied type of investment that we know that works. In Medan Merdeka, it's not. You should not be called a dreamer if you think that this could become the Central Park of Jakarta, right? This could become by using the existing national assets and creating green open spaces. There is an opportunity there to improve the pedestrian connectivity and connect it to transport networks. And this, again, could be an important project that can mobilize private capital and at the same time deliver the impact that we all are looking for. Again, this is not something new. This is something that has been done. There are some examples in Australia, in Hong Kong, in Taiwan. But these are just 2 examples. The list is long, and the opportunity that working in this type of project makes us, brings the possibility closer of combining resources, combining interests, aligning interests to target multiple challenges, to deliver the largest impact, to involve the private sector, and to give everyone a stake in making this a livable city. Thank you very much. I look forward to the discussion, and I hope this is a good starter what promises to be a great discussion.
Thank you, Luis. Give applause for him. I like the equation, 1 + 1, 5. It's very interesting. The most important not mention 11 for today, yeah? Okay, Luis, it's very interesting. I think Jakarta need transformation, aligned with the Slido, right? The first point. And then you also mentioned that in our RPJPN, the city must contribute like more than 55%, if I'm not mistaken, to the national GDP. And in your presentation, it seems like the transformation of Jakarta should be placed in a certain area. I don't know, block, in the size of block or what, that you mentioned Tanah Abang, Medan Merdeka. And then maybe we can also hear from our colleagues from private sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mike Broomell, or let's go with Mike, yeah? I don't think I need to introduce him, but it is an honor for us also to have you, Mike. 32 years experience in Indonesia, can you imagine? So from Reformation era until now, I think he witnesses how Jakarta transformed, yeah? And then he is the managing director of PT Colliers International Indonesia. He currently oversees the operation of one of the largest international property consultancy in Indonesia, which employ over 400 professionals. So he is professional of professionals, yeah? So, Mike, as you see, Jakarta will face transformation and is under transformation. And Louis' point is very clear that business should be involved. And how do you see this condition of Jakarta facing to the new direction of our RPJPN? Time is yours.
Okay. I was told I can stand up, so if
yeah,
you
please,
don't mind.
you have also podium if you want.
Yeah?
The podium if you want to
Okay.
feel in comfortable.
I can just walk around, it's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Casual style. As Andy said, I've lived here 32 years. I came in 1992, and I've lived here through every president of Indonesia except for Sukarno. So I've seen a lot of transformation, a lot in those years. And I'm sure there'll be a lot in the future as well. I wanted to highlight a little bit from a property perspective. You know, we work with developers, we work with investors, we work with occupiers. And I thought that this might be helpful for you to kind of understand what's we see is going to happen when the capital moves to IKN. So if I can get this clicker here. Somewhere? Great.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a slide that we had made showing the different countries in the world where they've moved the capital from one city to another. And it's quite interesting. It shows what happened to the population in the cities that were the capital was moved away from. But you see that the cities have continued to grow. And we looked at after 10 years after the capital moved, and then what the population currently is. But I guess the point of this is, despite the fact the capital will move out of Jakarta, Jakarta will continue to grow. And it's not going to solve, but just by the capital moving, it's not going to solve a lot of the issues that we're currently facing. We're still going to have to face those. So it's not the magic wand that's going to solve the challenges that we have. This was an interesting chart. I think I was kind of shocked when I first realized that Jakarta is actually the second largest urban area in the world. You know, a lot of people look at the population of DKI. If you looked at the earlier slide, it said about 10 million people. But that's an artificial boundary. That's just DKI, the region of Jakarta. But the urban area is the second largest after Tokyo, Japan, or, yeah. So you can see this is a big city. And you would expect that in a big city like this, we have a lot of challenges that we're going to need to face, even after IKN occupies the position as the new capital of the country. We have, water issues, as we all know. We have flood management issues, wastewater and water issues, transportation issues, traffic. Ever since I've been here, traffic has been bad. I'm looking forward to the electronic road pricing, the ERP system. I've been hearing about that for a long time. Maybe that will solve some of the problems. I thought that odd even license plates would solve the problem, but it doesn't seem to have. So we have finally the MRT, and we're adding a lot of MRT lines. So there's a lot of things that are happening or continuing to happen that we're going to have to respond to. And housing is one of the big issues. This is kind of an interesting piece of information. This shows the extent to which the federal government, the national government, occupies buildings and employs people in DKI. There's about 40 buildings that are owned by the government here, but the total space taken by the Indonesian government, and this is not SOEs, this is not state-owned enterprises, this is the Indonesian government itself, is 1.3 million square meters. And we have about 10.9 million square meters of office space. So it's perhaps around 12% of the office space is taken by the Indonesian government. Eventually, of course, some of that is going to move to IKN, but I would imagine a certain amount staying. But by comparison, right now we have 2.4 million of vacant office space in the private sector. We have a 22% vacancy rate in Jakarta. So it's a lot of space between what the Indonesian government will vacate and what is currently vacant in the private sector. In terms of people, as we said, we have about 33.4 million in the greater Jakarta area. Only less than 1 million people are employed by the Indonesian government. So if everybody that's working for the Indonesian government moved, you'd have about 1 million people out of 33 million. Okay? That's what percent? 3% of the people. So 97% of the people would still move if everybody moved, and I'm sure not everybody's going to move. But of course, you'd have people and their families as well that would move potentially. So I guess my point is, even if the capital moves, the city's not going to change that much. We shouldn't be expecting it's a magic wand to solve the traffic problems in Jakarta. Some people say, well, let's just convert office buildings that are vacated into residential buildings, okay? But I think for those that are architects in this room, you probably recognize the fact that it's not so easy to change an office building into an apartment. You can imagine, you know, in an office building, you have bathrooms in one place on the floor. If you're talking about apartments, you have to have plumbing in every single apartment unit. So it's very expensive to convert if you try to do so. And it's quite a challenge. And frankly, even in developed countries, I think they find it just not economic. They need a lot of government incentives to do this, in places like New York, for example. The issues you have here are that you've got the vacancy, as we said, but most of the buildings, when they're vacated, are not buildings that anybody's probably going to want to use, either for residential or for office. The buildings are old, for the most part, not necessarily greatly maintained. The design is not up to date, and they're underutilizing the amount of land that they're built on. So I don't think conversion from current use to a new use is the best efficient way to use that property. I think, from my perspective, probably the best thing to do is when the government moves out of buildings, to probably knock them down and redevelop those areas to higher buildings, newer buildings. I think that's the prudent way to do things, rather than trying to rehabilitate the government buildings that are being vacated. And I think the best type of use right now would be residential use. The office market's oversupplied. You're not going to put a warehouse downtown. What are you going to do? Probably high-rise residential. But the challenge you have is it's very expensive land. So it's very difficult for developers to build and make economic sense for tenants, or to build it so that people can buy. This is what, and I didn't collaborate with Louis on this, but this is a picture of Central Park in New York. This is what I can see something like Merdeka Square becoming. What you do is you have, right now, the land around Merdeka Square is government zoned. It's zoned for government buildings. What could happen is you could rezone it. You could build high-rise residential. And I think that would bring a lot of people into the city. And I think a lot of people would like to be in the city because they spend a lot of time in traffic on the way to the office if they work downtown. And if the Merdeka Square was improved in terms of the landscaping, in terms of the elements there, I think it would be a very attractive place for people to live. And who knows, maybe the government could even vacate some buildings and expand the size of Merdeka Square. I think right now I calculated Merdeka Square is about 25 or less than, maybe about 20% of the size of Central Park in New York. But Central Park in New York is a big tourist attraction, right? In New York, if you've ever been there, a lot of people will visit. So a couple things I think would be helpful for the government to ensure that what we saw in that picture actually happens. One is, right now there's policies that prevent the government from selling land. So if the government could reassess that and could actually sell some of the state land on which the government buildings are located, that would be helpful because it could bring some private investment in. Another thing is to consider, once the government moves out, use the land and make it available for a build, operate, transfer scheme. So the government keeps the ownership of the land and allows the developers to build, let's say, high-rise apartments, and then after 50 years, the ownership of those buildings goes back to the government. That would reduce the cost of land, of course, and make the apartments more affordable. Another thing is revising zoning to increase plot ratios, to encourage new property development in the area around Monas. Another is to offer financial incentives to developers. Right now, developers, if they buy property, they have to pay the 11% PPN, or now it's going to be 12% next year, and then we have to, the developers also have to pay 5% BPHTB. And the BPHTB, the buyer's tax, is actually under the control of DKI Jakarta, so it could potentially eliminate that and make the cost of developing more affordable. Also, interest rates. Developers pay very high interest rates here. If government could provide through state banks less expensive financing for the development, long-term lending for these projects, it could make apartments more affordable to people that want to live downtown and rent downtown. And another issue is I know that a lot of countries have real estate investment trusts, REITs. Here we call it DIRE, Dana Investasi Real Estate. But there aren't many people that are doing that because, again, there's tax issues with the PPN, with the BPHTB, so there needs to be some adjustments there, and I think there would be a lot of foreign investment that would be willing to come in and potentially buy apartments that were developed by developers and then leased. Same thing with individual buyers. It's a problem. Right now the government has waived the PPN for people, but that's only a temporary measure. If it was made permanent, if people also didn't have to pay the 5% BPHTB, they could make downtown living more affordable to people that could afford to buy. And again, if the buyers of apartments, if they decided to develop downtown and sell, if they could potentially get lower interest rates on their financing, that would be great. So one final comment. Andy and I, if I can plug Urban Land Institute, there's an organization called Urban Land Institute. Andy and I are both on the founding committee of that. Since we're both on the panel together, I thought I would just plug this because this is an organization, it's a global organization that is a group from people of different sectors. They're developers, investors, architects, government, urban planners, consultants, attorneys, brokers, engineers. They all get together in this organization and they talk about these kinds of issues that we're talking about now and try to figure out how to help the city. And they have 45,000 members around the world in 80 countries. And so they're learning from each other best practices. And we're trying to start a chapter here. As you can see on this map, Jakarta's not here, but we want to start one. So if you're a developer or an investor or anybody in this room that's interested in being part of Urban Land Institute in Indonesia and addressing these kind of issues, collaborating together, please talk to Andy or myself, and we'd love to see you become a member. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Give him applause. Very interesting. Bring back people to the city. And then through the infill development, I know in the past housing changed into offices, right? Apa bahasa kita? Ruko, rukan, yeah. And now Mike trying to suggest the office of Medan Merdeka become a residential use, yeah. Although we want also to look further, yeah, to which level, yeah, mixed, low, middle or high level income. But we keep it first. And in the presentation of Mike also emphasized that needs some kind of the changing in the fiscal spatial policy as well. So the third speaker of us is Miss Tona, the head of Jakarta Investment Center. I don't have note about her, but I think she is a complete professional. Her background is urban planning as well from ITB. I think you put career mostly at Bapeda, yeah, in planning agency, in the kitchen of the policy, and then I think about 2 or 3 years now, you are in the investment center and now become the front line. And then I think we also want to hear from you, Tona, how the situation of the investment. I believe you are now in active, more proactive, the investment, not only passive awaiting the potential one. So, time is yours. Please share your thought and also your experience.
All right. Thank you very much, Bang Andi. Bang Andi is my long not lost, yeah, because we frequently meet, yeah, every now and then. All right, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon to you. My name is Tona Hutauruk. For you who don't know me, I'm the head of Jakarta Investment Center, the very committee that conduct this event. So on behalf of the all committee, I really want to say my gratitude to all coming here and stay here until this afternoon. Thank you again. Without you, this event won't be successful. So my presentation here is about leveraging Jakarta Investment Catalyst Initiatives. So the branding is Jakarta Investment Catalyst Initiatives. In Indonesia, we call it Rancang Potensi Investasi. That is to connect the spatial planning with the investment opportunities. So these are the contents, why the government needs to be more proactive, and then what is the Jakarta Investment Catalyst Initiatives, and then how we try to initiate and do more of a, high-tech geographic information system for incorporate that to the Jakarta Investment Catalyst Initiatives. Okay. So as mentioned before by Bang Andi and then Pak Gubernur in his earlier session, we are now ranked 74 and 45 in Global City Index and Global Power City Index. We are not proud of it, but at least we are now confirmed that we are going toward the direction of being the global city. So I think it's a very good start. We are now claiming we are no longer the capital city, but we are confident that we are leaping into the global city. Now, to be the global city, can I, the government, conduct my way of doing the government by doing the old ways, the conventional way? In the past, we are more of a, waiting and then hoping that you, the investors, the stakeholders, will come and then apply to us your proposal, your ideas. But now the innovation is we, the government actually can be also the orchestrator of the development, and you, the private sector, as the development partner. And that, and the element of function, before we only review your proposal and then we issue the permits, but then why don't we, the government, determine the direction for the investment areas, and then we initiate what kind of collaboration that we can do between us and you guys, also directing what is your contribution to be for development of an area. So having that in mind, the very instrument that are used, actually the spatial planning documents, the RTRW or the master plan, and the detailed spatial plan, the RDTR. Now, we feel that we need another document to be the bridge between the spatial plan into the investment. That is, we choose the development that is called the development brief. I will explain later on about the development brief. So the whole idea is being more proactive, being more, initiative, and we really realized that all the potential of area is not to be only identified. It has to be created, actually. This I take from Pak Benni, my superior. Dalam bahasa Indonesia, potensi itu, Tona, bukan untuk ditunggu, bukan untuk diidentifikasi saja, tapi diciptakan. So that's the idea. We have to create something. That is why in Indonesia we call the program as Rancang Potensi Investasi, dirancang. Now, on the spatial plan, we know that there is a table, in Indonesia we call it pemanfaatan ruang, or the planning programs table. You can see there that actually for every program, we have stated how the programs are going to be funded. In the third columns from the left, it says, for example, the funding sources by private funds and or public sources. Private funds or public sources. It is stated explicitly like that. But then, how do we make it happen? Okay, in the spatial plan, we have stated that it's going to be funded by the private. But then, what do you do as government? Before, we only wait until the investors coming and then making the proposal. But then, we cannot do that anymore, thus the proactiveness. So the Jakarta Investment Catalyst Initiative is actually the action of accelerate and facilitate investment process by integrating these two things. First, the planning, the strategy formulating, we determine the location, space function, and then also bringing all that planning into the marketing programs. So we have the info of the potential and benefit of investment in one area, and then we bring the info directly to you, the investors. We market that, and then we want to negotiate with you. We want to do the collaboration with you. So it is a end-to-end process, up from the from the very beginning of the planning up to the marketing until we have a closure deal for specific kind of investment. Now, the development brief itself, we have a collaboration with several universities until we come up with the document development brief. And then the content actually, number 1, 2, 3, it is actually only the usual ones, like the usual conventional planning document, site description, visioning, site potentials, issue, planning and design. But the interesting ones are, we do the number 4 until 8. We do the financial analysis for the area that we want to offer. So you don't have to hire your consultant at the very beginning, because we do that for you. And making sure that the investment is going to be benefiting for you, of course. Otherwise, you won't want to invest, right? So we do the financial analysis. If you do this land here to be the apartment, for example, or to be the shopping mall, so you will get IRR like this, and then NPV like this for this kind of time, etc. So we do that. And then we also convey all our analysis of the inventarization of the assets. We do that. And then we also write what is the permit process and requirements that you need for that investment. And then we offer several development schemes and also related policies and incentives. So it's kind of, complete and compact document that we believe it is relevant for your need as investors. So we also try to incorporate artificial intelligence because DPM PTSP, the Department of Investment and Integrated One-Stop Services, have very good big data organizations. We have almost all the data related to land, property in Jakarta as well. And then we collaborate with Google in this part, with Vertex AI, and then we try to develop several scenarios for the area development. So this is in progress with Google and other collaborators. So we have 12 proposed locations for the investment potential study. So these are the 12 one. And then for each areas, we have stipulated some kind of a visioning. Like, for example, the first one, the Bumi Perkemahan Ragunan, if I offer you that piece of land, and then I just call it's a Bumi Perkemahan Ragunan, I don't think you would be very interested. But then when I say that it would be the green enclave in Jakarta's new commercial core, well, it's actually imitating the ones that is done by many developers, many private developers. Why don't we, the government, do that as well? If I say Grogol Petamburan, it would be a TOD area, then it would be very, well, it's usual. It doesn't ring a bell to you. But when I say it's going to be a transit university town, I think it adds a little bit of meaning, a little bit of juice to that area. Also for Monas, what if we call that the new heights for Jakarta historic grounds? That is why that is related to my job in Jakarta Investment Center, because we are the promotional agency. We really want to, well, I must say, I want to tease you, the investors, to be attracted, to be interested in our programs. And so I have to think from your side what kind of elements that will be of interest of you. So, I don't know if you can see clearly, yeah? So a bit of preview what is in the development brief. We do all the market insight, and then also we do the land price mapping analysis for you, and then we propose the site plan, which one is going to be for our part in the government, which part going to be in collaboration with you, and then we do the calculation. It's going to be very benefit. You have the IRR, NPV like this with timeline, and then all the summary is suggested and a visualization that is going to be interesting. Not like the usual spatial plan document. So that's about the development brief. These are also the permit process, what kind of collaborating scheme that we can offer, and also the incentives. Now, just to move on before we got to Pa Sulis from Esri, we are now in the Department of Investment and Integrated One-Stop Services are now initiating how to incorporate the geographic information system for that Jakarta investment analysis. And we are now trying to develop the Jakarta digital twin. I don't know, if we want to be the global city, do we still want to use our old methods using the 2D maps? I don't think so, yeah? It doesn't appeal that much. But now, having the technology of digital twin, where we, the government, and then you, all the investors, can really grab the feel of the world of Jakarta in the system, in your laptop, without have to go there, and then incorporate all the information within the maps. I think it's very fascinating, and that's what we want to build for all Jakarta. Well, now, Pak Benni, we're still in the very initiating phase, yeah? So, but that's the dream. So spatial analysis to determine various urban development metrics, modeling of trend and growth. It can enrich the digital twin with various information and analytical tools, so you, the investors, can have an accurate knowledge of Jakarta. So furthermore, we want to provide an instrument for Jakarta provincial government to ease the permit process and providing a way to monitor the progress. It can also increase the transparency and accountability with the permit process, stimulating collaboration between us, the government, and the investors, and also it can drive innovations in other sectors, architecture, trade and commerce, telecommunication, etc. So, well, that's the dream, but at some point we have to start, right? Because if we can only wait, then how can we move on? The dream is big, to be the global city. So, well, that is these are our initiatives. The government wants to be very proactive and initiative, and we really hope that you in this room at least can collaborate with us. Well, that's for me, but Pak Andi, can I ask for your time another 2 or 3 minutes? Probably Pak Benni, my superior, my boss, can add something just to wrap up what I have conveyed. Silakan, Pak.
So, please Pak Benni, highlights, what key highlights from this?
Yeah. I think I should present this presentation, but Tona is better in English, so I think Tona should present. And this is the Tona who proposed the development brief. No regulation about development brief, but Tona proposed, and I think this is nice. Yeah, government proposed something to development, even the land is not us. We try to develop, but it's better for me thinking in bahasa, so I speak bahasa ya. Jadi ini awalnya adalah ketika kami merasa RDTR itu cuman terlampau global. Sementara gambar arsitek itu terlampau lokal. Persil per persil. Ada urban design yang sebetulnya berbicara antar persil. District, neighborhood, gitu kan. Hanya urban design ini dalam pengaturan tidak diatur. Terus Tona bilang, Pak itu bukan urusan kita. Nggak apa-apa, ini backgroundnya aja Pak Andi. Kita ngomong sama Andi, itu bukan urusan PTSP. Udah gitu kan, saya bilang katanya, urban design itu juga bisa meng-create potensi. Makanya tadi Tona kontak potensi. Jadi potensi itu akan tumbuh kalau dia itu dikembangkan, kita bisa melihat sesuatu secara bukan hanya persil per persil. Akan tumbuh potensi investasi kalau kita melihat sebagai sebuah distrik, sebuah neighborhood. Pak Michael tadi menyampaikan, Pak Luis juga menyampaikan TOD. Nah, bagaimana kita mendorong orang supaya terlibat gitu kan ya, terlibat memikirkan masa depan dan lain. Ya udah kita visualisasi kan ya, kita kasih tematik distrik dia sehingga dia bisa berkontribusi, berkolaborasi, visualisasi ton gitu. Seperti itu. Intinya satu, kalau orang bilang kan ya, kita berpikirnya global gitu kan ya, bertindaknya lokal, tapi kita harus merencanakannya secara regional, secara kawasan. Intinya itu. Maka dengan kita mengembangkan, membuat sebuah rencana kawasan, saya nggak tahu apakah urban design atau urban planning atau arsitektur, gak hanya ngomongin soal persilnya dia, maka akan muncul potensi-potensi investasi baru. Apa yang dibuat Tona adalah memvisualisasikan untuk memancing komunitas terlibat, berkolaborasi, mencari potensinya untuk terus berkembang. Nggak bisa diharapkan pemerintah aja gitu kan ya, dan kolaborasi dan lain-lain itu tidak akan muncul dengan sendirinya gitu. Makanya Tona tadi bilang, potensi itu terjadi di create. Dengan apa? Ya kita visualkan. Lebih mudah mengerti yang tadi ya, kayak di Boston, kayak di mana ya, yang Tona bikin, dibanding kita lihat, mohon maaf di peta warna-warni, kuning, merah, biru, lebih sulit dimengerti. Dan lebih sulit juga dimengerti ketika gambar itu sangat detail seperti gambar arsitek. Kita perlu ada di situ, ada semacam penggambaran sebuah neighborhood, 3 dimensi, gitu kan ya. Dan dari situ orang lihat, oh ternyata kalau kawasan kita dikembangkan dengan baik bisa seperti ini. Dan potensinya ini. Selanjutnya adalah dihitung berapa potensinya. Ya makasih juga kepada IAP yang sudah membantu kita ya Ton, untuk mengembangkan ini, dan teman-teman IAI dan juga dari Urban Design, kita exercise sama-sama beberapa perguruan tinggi, ya kita coba kembangkan, itulah development briefnya Ton. Itu yang bisa saya sampaikan. Thank you ya.
Thank you Pak Benni. Kasih applause juga. Give applause. So basically that I can capture now is the government of the DKI Jakarta want take step ahead, yeah, become more aggressive in the market, and I think one of the interesting part that Jakarta has very huge data, or let's say big data. There are several of economic data, social data, and so on. So perhaps for all of you who are the business owner, business creator, investor, I think you should visit Tona office or Pak Benni office and then see whether the idea of the government of Jakarta suited to your also interest. Yeah, it is very interesting, and congratulate to the progress that you have achieved. And then let's go to the last but not least, Pak Sulistyo. Since Tona has revealed so many spatial information and also starting to using AI, I think we also want to know from Pak Sulistyo. He is, let's see, Head of Professional Services of Esri Indonesia. Mr. Sulistyo is a successful technological leader with 20 years of experience, business process services and information security. He was a Chief of Technology and Information Security Officer at Telekom Malaysia, subsidiary VADS Indonesia, before joining Esri. So, Pak Sulistyo, of course, there are so many innovations that you have achieved and your office achieved. Maybe you can also share with us and what kind of the potential collaboration with Jakarta, yeah? Time is yours, Pak.
Thank you, Pak Andi. Good afternoon, everyone. I think a lot of things we already hear from the stakeholder here. Many initiative, many idea, just to understand what are the next for the Jakarta, our city. Cities are complex, dynamic, and interconnected. They need to attract investment, manage housing affordability, improve economic resiliency, and meet their sustainability goal. Technology can help shape how we build. Therefore, we would like to start our session by giving you some background on why we need such a technology and process to make data even higher from the value perspective, and dive into how we can apply urban design and redevelopment initiative for Jakarta. What we can see across many organizations is that they face same challenges. They are looking for lower the cost in terms of the permit and also recurring plan update, bring more accountability and transparency toward meeting their planning goals, while also improving access to GIS planning and design professionals themselves. All of this can be summarized as transforming traditional process into digital ones. As we gather here, we stand at the intersection of technology and urban redevelopment, where the power of the data redefining how we design, manage, and envision our city, Jakarta. Urban planning has always been a complex process, involving the careful balance of social, economic, environmental, and infrastructure factors. However, the challenge we face today, rapid urbanization, climate change, and the need of sustainability development, require us to adopt more innovative and data-driven approach. On a smart map, city planners and officials can visualize data related to demographic, traffic, economy, and infrastructure to reveal the relationship and pattern. Using interactive tool, planner and city official can see the entire region or drill down into granular neighborhood level to learn more about the area, the people who live and work there. Before they can map and model the city plan, city need to manage their data. Geospatial technology with capability of geoprocessing enable to simplify the management of complex databases. The same technology is helping create scalable plan enriched with the relevant information from local zoning, space use type, and building types. Create 3D visualization of urban plan and project to inform stakeholder. Communicate trends through indicators such as population growth, new job creation, water usage, waste generation. Enable capability to perform site suitability analysis by layering multiple dataset. And then adjust weight to criteria like zoning type, maximum building height, and existing building age. Change the weight will automatically reflect in the scoring, saving our time and resources when identifying suitable location for development. Geospatial data with its ability to capture the spatial dimension of our world is revolutionizing the field of urban planning. Through the integration of GIS, remote sensing, and real-time data collection, we now have unprecedented access to detailed location-specific information. This allows urban planners to make more informed decisions, predict the future trend, create cities that are not only more efficient, but also more resilient and inclusive. Many cities, Boston can be seen here, have for a long time used physical 3D models, which have played a key role in providing context on ongoing projects. The model is quite detailed, but nearly impossible to keep up to date and share, of course, especially without being in the same physical space. The classic way of modeling the built environment, however, can be replicated into digital space. Traditional 2D site plan do not enough offer information for reviewer to understand the spatial impact of proposed project. However, 3D model help people visualize and assess a project, the context of its proposed location. This can be achieved by replicating the real world in a digital environment. Planner gain a safe place to test project scenarios. This digital twin model a neighborhood's building, vegetation, street, right-of-way, and other infrastructure. The more detailed planners add to models, the more realistic neighborhood scene become, and the more useful they are for analyzing real-world effect. This also to streamline a review of proposed development project, thereby reducing the need for resubmission. So we can imagine if there is e-submission for both official government as well the investor, how both parties can be visible and transparently to understand what are the common thing that they need to decide. Over time, demographic and market shift, public concern about climate trend, conservation, and resource use evolve. As urban environment change faster than predicted, city regulation must keep pace. In turn, planner need tools to uncover growth pattern and evaluate area where current trend no longer fit existing building regulation. By visualizing proposed scenario throughout the planning process, planner get a clearer understanding of how development will look. The 3D models help decision maker see connection and understand the related problem. For example, we can evaluate a proposal environment impact on surrounding and previously existing natural resources. As we explore the potential of geospatial technology, we must also consider how they can be used to address critical issues, such as social equity, environmental sustainability, and economical viability. By leveraging this data, we can create urban spaces that are not only smart, but also green and economically vibrant. Imagine Jakarta, where infrastructure is designed with precision, where resources are allocated based on actual needs, and where the impact of development are analyzed and mitigated. Even they occur, this is not a distant future. It is a reality that geospatial data is enabling today. Today's discussion will delve into this possibility, showcasing real-world example and exploring future of Jakarta in the age of geospatial data. I encourage each of you to think critically about how geospatial technology optimized with valuable data can be applied in our initiative and how we can collaborate to redevelop Jakarta. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Sulis. Give him applause. So let's data work for us, yeah? Not we work for data. I remember in the 1990s, I studied urban and regional planning. We only have 3 credits of GIS. And then now GIS become more digitalized, and then I believe if the office of Tona, Pak Mike, Pak Luis has a planner that can help skill of the GIS, I think it will make easier for us to make our cities more, let's say, planned, yeah? So more order. So, ladies and gentlemen, we heard from the global perspective, from the private urban property perspective, from the government, and also from the professional of data scientists. So now I think we knew that that urban transformation requires very important, skillful of human resources. I think that's my first capturing from those panelists. But I like also to hear your comments, or if you are interested also to explore more of our panelists. But we only have 15 minutes more, sorry for that. So maybe 1 or 2 comments or questions from the left or the right. Please raise your hand, or if we have any from the, what you call that? From the slide or whatever, from virtual. Any one of you interested to interact with us? Anyway, or you are digesting now a lot of information? Okay, okay, lady with the red shirt. It doesn't mean red, something red, yeah. It's only red shirt. And also the young man with the black shirt. Please name and your institutions.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Wiwit from Australia, Indonesia. And yeah, I have a question for Butona from GIF. Yeah, it's such a good initiative that GIF now has provide a planning program table, which also including the financial analysis and schematic design tool is such a good innovation right now. But my question is, how will the real collaboration between the private, government, and also the community in order to utilize the government national asset that we know that they will be moved to Nusantara? Is the government waiting to the big investor come first and then execute it, or the government will create or build the infrastructure first to make the private interest to invest there, or will the government and the private waiting until the public generate activity or crowd activation there? I think the Block M is one of the success story collaboration between the BUMN, government, and private, also the community, because after the transformation of MRT, there will be a transport hub or crowd puller hub right now. Yeah, I think that's my question.
A form and mechanism of collaboration. Thank you. Mas?
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Asdi Rahmani. I'm a landscape architect from I+D Studio. I am also as a delegate from Indonesian Landscape Architect Branch Association in Jakarta.
Okay.
Just a quick questions about of course, I'm a landscape architect. I'm interested in green infrastructure. As Mike showed in Central Parks, as a landscape architect, you can always see Central Park, right? But is it necessary we copied Central Park in Jakarta? Is it the best way to implement green infrastructure? Like in Singapore, you have park connector, right? That's also part of the green infrastructure. So my question is, in general, for all of you, how do you think the green spaces can contribute to the economy viability of urban redevelopment projects in the future? So that's kind of like in general questions.
Okay.
Okay, that's.
Do you know how many % of green open space in Jakarta right now?
I think it's below 10%, isn't it?
Okay. Let's don't answer it, yeah?
Okay, that would be great. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, it's like just a quick question, because I was thinking, I'm also involved a little bit in early for Tebet Eco Park, for the first phases. Like, you can see that a lot of people use Tebet Eco Park. As you can see, it's happening, right? And you live in Jakarta right now. You see every Sunday people walk in streets, running. Like it's like if you go to Makkah, it's like the thing I forgot the name. Sorry, but it's a lot of people walk through there. That shows people need green open spaces, right?
Yeah.
So how do you see the green infrastructure in the future for Jakarta? Thank you.
Okay. So first and the second, Tona can answer, and also for your closing remark, so we can conclude. Yeah. Form and mechanism of collaboration. I think mostly for the central government assets. I think you have 12 potential area that you mentioned. Do you have any, let's say, new mechanism for make a good collaboration until now, or you are still progressing?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Mbak. Siapa tadi? I didn't catch your name. Mbak Wiwit from Australia. Yeah, that is a very good question, actually. Well, to be honest, in that theme about what we're going to do about the national asset that is left because the relocation of the capital city, there are several stakeholders in government of DKI Jakarta handling that. The very main stakeholders is Bapeda, the regional planning agency. They make all the master plan and the roadmap, and then work in close relation with the Ministry of Finance, Kementerian Keuangan, because the inventory of the assets of the national is taken care by the Kementerian Keuangan. So in that sense, we cannot almost do anything without, well, not approval, but getting the recommendation in somewhat of level from the Ministry of Finance. But we also realize that this is the very moment that we, the government, have to restart gitu ya. Otherwise, the owner of the assets will come, and then they will say that they want to propose, my site is going to be built like this, and then the other one say that I want to build my site like this. But the government has a view that all the parcels of lands will be better if developed in one theme of areas. We don't want the development to be parcel by parcel. Instead, we want to make it as an area, so the capital is bigger. It will be more attractive. The control is better. We can do and anticipate all the infrastructure from the very beginning, and that's why the methods of making it to be an area development is what we think is the most optimum approach for developing the assets that is left to the IKN. Well, to answer what kind of collaboration scheme, I'm afraid I cannot answer that right now. I have to consult that with several stakeholders. I must admit that DPMPTSP is not the very main stakeholders in that theme. That's why, well, me as the government, I have several authority demarcation that I have to maintain. But we can discuss that later on, yeah? We can do a meeting if you want to know what kind of progress that we in the government are progressing right now. Let's have, I can arrange FGD, for example. That is my job, actually, as the Jakarta Investment Centers. We can invite several people that are, several stakeholders that are more capable and also with the authority in answering that questions. But, well, the idea is there, and then the roadmap and also the connection between all stakeholders are being built. I know Mbak Gria here, she works very close with Bapeda, and also Bang Andi has helped several occasion with the renew of the apa Bang? RT/RW 2045. Yeah, that elements are all tried to be incorporated in the RT/RW.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably that, yeah, but I'm very open to more discussion on that theme. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tena. Jadi intinya kalau rokok jangan beli ketengan, tapi satu bungkus kira-kira gitu, ya. Mike, please add.
Could I? Yes. I'd like to just use this Block M project as an example. Obviously, we have the MRT, and we have the TOD locations. So in terms of accessibility to the site, that's already built in by the government. The question is how to develop around the TOD stop. In the case of Block M, what happened is we worked very closely with MRTJ in terms of doing a feasibility study. That's one. They hired an architect that designed the project, and so they have a design for the infrastructure at the TOD location that will be funded by the investor that comes in and builds the buildings, office or residences, hotel, retail. So the plan is there, but the funding will come from the private sector as part of the funding for the investor that comes in. So I think it has worked well. We're in the process now of raising money, looking for investors and developers for that project. That will be kind of the guinea pig. But I have to tell you, working with MRTJ, they've been very responsive. They understand what businesses need. They're asking for input from businesses. They're asking for proposals on how to structure it so that it makes this project attractive for an investor and developer. So I can vouch for that, and I think the potential to work together and develop the infrastructure, at least at TOD locations, is there.
And it will take some time, yeah, to get it in each other understanding on how let's say the conclusion of what kind of investment become, right? So it cannot be like a very quick one. Or you ever experience very quick one to get settle the project of collaboration?
Yeah, it's not so easy.
Yeah, I know.
It involves a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think in this case it was over or close to 3 trillion rupiah.
Yeah.
So it may take a consortium of investors to come in, but there's a desire to make it attractive to investors, and I think they're flexible in terms of how to structure things.
Yeah, therefore we need a very good preparation. Thank you, Mike. Luis, one of the second question, I think that we can also touch green economic transformation, right? We need greening the infrastructure, greening the building. And sometimes it being compiled in what we call decarbonization, right? So what kind of the challenges that you think Jakarta will face? Because I know in the transition, in the transformation, implementation needs more adaptive, need more changing regulation to become more conducive ecosystem for the business and also the community to apply. Do you have any, let's say, benchmarking or from your experience, how then this green transformation, because like the young men say, the Jakarta need more green infrastructure. Jakarta need green spaces, but at the same time, green for the business point of view, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a cost center. But actually it's also a good investment if the green space located next to your business place or your house. Please, your comments.
So this is the $1 million question, no? Because essentially even from Block M to the green infrastructure, it's all related to action, no? Because there is no discussion. Nobody said here at the table, oh no, this Block M thing sounds like a bad idea. No, nobody says that. Same thing about green infrastructure. Nobody says it's a bad idea. The question is how to do it. No? And we all talk about cooperation, and cooperation is not essentially about whether we are good people or not good people, right? Well-intentioned or not well-intentioned. It's about cooperation for what? And that means aligning incentives. And so how can we align the incentives so we develop green spaces? Or how can we align the incentives so that all the investments jump into the project in Block M? So that is the question. And to do that, we run into an institutional framework. No? So do we have the mechanisms to cooperate? Let's say we all agree. Do we have the institutional mechanisms? And what we have found in several cities, at least regarding decarbonization and in many cases regarding urban transformation, is that while there is the political leadership, there are the projects, there are the intentions and all the actors that are willing. What is lacking is the institutional framework to make everything work.
Yeah.
And that, where is the institutional framework? It's written in laws and regulations. And so there are two streams of thinking there. One that promotes to change the existing framework, and the other one to operate within the existing framework. And since there is no time, what most successful countries have done is take their existing institutional framework to the limit, push it to the limit while producing reforms. So I think that's key to success to all these great ideas that we heard today is, so how can we operate through the existing institutional framework so that we can make these investments work both in Block M and also green infrastructure? Thank you.
Yeah. Institutional framework, Pak Sulis, one of the conditions to have a good institutional framework is the data, right? As you mentioned, the green open space, do you have any updates of the advancement in GIS? Let's say you build a 3-story and 10-story that you can automatically calculate how much ecosystem services they're taken, so then we can easily compare and make adjustment to our plan?
Yeah, it is interesting and common question that coming in from the society. From the technology perspective, how we can understand, we leverage the technology, can be from the remote sensing as well, real data capture, and mostly when we talk about the green area, green zone, Geo AI is involving now. The capability to capture the difference of the raster is automatically and calculate. So meaning here, we have to be clear in terms of the objective, and then let the technology accelerate it for it.
Okay, and let's do maybe one sample project of us, so then we can see how this institutional framework that Luis proposed can be set up, yeah?
Yep.
So, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Give applause for our distinguished panelists. And I ask for you to photo session as a rundown. Please stand up for photo session. Pak Benni, come join us. And then, okay. Okay, thank you. And then we appreciate for you taking time of us with us. And then let's hear the video of Jakarta Investment Festival Summit. So again, give applause for us and see you again in the next agenda.
Thank you.
As we conclude the Jakarta Investment Festival 2024, I invite you all to join us in our journey towards a global city in realizing the Golden Indonesia 2045 vision. See you at the next Jakarta Investment Festival.
On behalf of the Jakarta Investment Festival Committee, I'd like to extend our gratitude to all distinguished speakers, investors, business partners, and guests for coming and joining us at the Jakarta Investment Festival 2024. It's been an honor to engage with all global leaders in shaping the future of our city. Let's continue this journey together to build a stronger Jakarta. See you at the next Jakarta Investment Festival.
Invest now, invest Jakarta.